I'm here in the process of getting ready to preach for Sunday, and I'm in the book of James again, chapter 1, preaching from verses 19 through 21. And there is that famous verse, verse 19. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. What a beautiful verse. Be quick to hear and slow to speak. That idea of being slow to speak, being careful what you say. Do you struggle with that? We all do, right? We all can be quick sometimes to open our mouths and say things, and maybe sometimes it's good and maybe most of the time it's not. And it blows up in our face and it causes more damage than anything. There's some principles here that I'd like to share with you all when it comes to this. There's the 7 things here. And they're not all Don Holley originals, so just keep that in mind. There's a few that are mine, but the good old Google helped me with some of these, so just for the interest of full disclosure. But they're too good not to share, so I'm going to share them with you. When it comes to being careful to speak, number 1, pause, think, even pray before responding. When you're in the heat of the moment, stop and put your mouth into check before you open your mouth. That is a discipline we all need to learn. In the heat of the moment especially, it can be real easy to open your mouth and insert your foot. And maybe it's not even in the heat of the moment. Maybe it's in a situation where you don't think and you open your mouth and you end up causing more damage than good. It's important to learn to stop and think, put your thoughts into order before you speak, and even take time to go to the Lord and ask for the Spirit to guide you before you speak. So that's number 1. Number 2, prioritize listening over talking. This verse here, verse 19, quick to hear, slow to speak. Prioritize listening. Sometimes you don't need to speak. Sometimes, let's be real, people don't need to hear your great pearls of wisdom. It's true. They just need someone to listen. Besides, how many relationships have been ruined because that one person is quick with their mouth and slow with their ears? Number 3, filter your words. Ask yourself, is it true? What you're going to say, is it true? Because sometimes it's just our perspective on the situation. I know I've been guilty of this. I know I've been a victim of this. I've had people who've passed judgments and have made comments about things that they had no idea what they were talking about because they didn't know the situation. So ask yourself, is it true? Do I really understand what's going on? Ask yourself, is it necessary for me to speak? Is it kind? And will anything productive come from me saying what I'm going to say? Number 4, walk away from emotional situations. Especially when we're talking about in the heat of the moment. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. In the heat of the moment, when you feel your anger boiling, we're all human. We all struggle with that. When you feel it there, just walk away. Learn to walk away. Number 5, speak to build up. As a Christian, this should be the ultimate goal in any situation. When it comes to speaking truth, the goal should be to build that person up, not to tear a person down. Sometimes we get an arrogance within ourselves where we think, oh, that person needs to be knocked down a peg. And we think, oh, it's going to be my job to do it. Well, it's not your job. It's God's job. And if you're a person who thinks you need to knock someone down a peg, you might just need to be knocked down a peg. In situations where truth needs to be spoken to a life of a person, it needs to come from a place of love and control, with words that are going to be received, guided by a God's Spirit. It needs to be done thoughtfully and prayerfully. And it needs to be done in a way that ultimately is for that person's good. So speak to build up. Number 6, here's one of mine. So if you ever use this, you can put a penny in an envelope and mail it to me. You don't always need to have an opinion on everything. Sometimes we think we do. We think we need to have an opinion on everything that we hear, even if it has nothing to do with us, even if it's none of our business. Part of keeping relationships is not having an opinion on everything. Sometimes you just need to, again, just shut up. We have people in our family who are kind of like that, who have opinions on everything. And so we have rules in our household that when we're around those people, we're careful with the information we share, because we don't want to be in that situation where that person is saying things that they don't need to say, and we're not having to hear things we don't want to hear. So it's best just to learn that you don't need to have an opinion on everything. If it has nothing to do with you, if it isn't your business, if it doesn't affect you, and if you're not in the position to speak truth in the life of another person, just close your mouth. Finally, number 7, be comfortable with silence. The old Alison Krauss song, you say it best when you say nothing at all. Sometimes nothing needs to be said. As a pastor, I've been in those situations with people, sometimes in the most heartbreaking situations in life, where just being there for them was all they needed. They didn't need to hear anything from me. I just needed to be there alongside them in that tough time. And sometimes that's all people need. They just need someone to be there with them. Sometimes you don't need to say anything at all. Be comfortable with silence. Be slow to speak. Jesus said in Luke 6:45, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. Words reveal the condition of the heart. What you say, what does that reveal about your heart? What you say to other people, what you say about other people, the things that come out of your mouth, what does that reveal about you? Think about that. Be slow to speak, stop, think, pray, and sometimes just be silent. Too good not to share. I hope it was a blessing to you. Have a good evening.